I guess it was the YouTube thing, because you know, you have to mute it, otherwise it sounds weird. It must have been something. Okay, folks, so we have a quorum with the exception of one case right now, but we do have a quorum for everything else. So we can go ahead and get started.
I call the Sex Offender Registration Review Board meeting for March 9th, 2023 to order. We want to do a roll call first. So Tracy, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Mindy Ackerman,
I'm here.
Jordan Moore,
Present.
Jerry Bruce,
Here.
Caitlin Morrell,
Here.
Frank Mullis,
Present.
Bert Reeves, I know is online, but he has a call, he said, and he'll be on in about 10 minutes. Lori Rozier,
Here.
and then I will call out the ones I do not believe are present, but I'll make sure. Mandy Ballinger, Sheriff Brown, who I know is trying to connect, Matthew Connolly, and Katie Dropper.
I'm going to read our mission statement here at the Sex Offender Registration Review Board. Our purpose and mission is protecting Georgia's children and communities at large by identifying convicted sexual offenders that present the greatest risk of sexually reoffending. It is the board's responsibility to determine the likelihood that a sexual offender will engage in another crime against a victim who is a minor or a dangerous sexual offense. Assessments will be used by the SORB to determine the risk level of the offenders. Offenders are classified as level 1, level 2, or sexually dangerous predator. Have all members received and had an opportunity to review the minutes from the meeting this week?
Yes.
Any have not? Are there any questions, comments, concerns on that? If not, we will move on to that to adopt the minutes. Do I hear a motion? We adopt the minutes of our previous meeting.
So moved.
I hear a
I
second. Second. All right, motion carries. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Right, motion carries. We'll move on now. There are no reports of officers or standing committees. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're going to move on to unfinished business to case 2245. Oh, okay, we couldn't do that. Okay, all right. So we're going to look at the standing procedure changes.
So 2 board meetings ago, actually, there was a recommendation of us changing the procedures regarding attending trainings, for me specifically attending the Association for the Treatment of Sexual Abusers annually. That is where it's the national organization, and it's usually where any updates on research is presented. And so with Elizabeth's help, came up with wording, language, and it is on the it's not paged, it should be. It's on the 3rd page and it's letter K. I highlighted it so you can see exactly where it is and what part it is. Hopefully y'all had a chance to read it, and it would just be if y'all want to adopt that, if you want any changes, or if there's any issues with how that is worded. Yes.
Okay, so this is for her to as the executive director to attend conferences, and if any funds remain, she'll be able to take someone with her who is a specialist, and maybe a clinical evaluator as well. So that's the recommendation, that we add this as part of the standing procedures. Do I hear a motion that we accept this change?
I motion that we accept the change as presented for Tracy and staff to attend training.
Okay, that's Gerard.
I second.
And that's Tracy, not her. I'm sorry, Lori. All right, any opposed? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries, and that has been part of our change. All right, now on to case 22455, which is an unfinished babe change. It was a SORB case of a classification recommendation that was sent to our review committee, which consisted of Mindy Ackerman, Matthew Conley, myself, Gerard Armour, Zell Brown, and Jerry Bruce. And it was the reason for the review was February 16, 2023 at the board meeting. The board voted unanimously to remove the case for further review, and it was sent to the members. And Tracy, you want to go through how that went?
Yeah, so what we do in a case is removed by committee due to some additional discussion and review that's wanted by the board is sent to each of those committee members. All the documents are sent to them, with the exception of the BCS notes, because we cannot print those or put those out. So, but you get all the other criminal information that we have on that case and other information that we've been able to upload. And so that information is sent out, then each individual reads that information and submits to me their recommendation, if they think that the level that was recommended should stay the same, or if it should be increased, and if so, why, or maybe other cases decreased and why that would be. In this case, it was a level 1, so it would be to recommend increasing it if there's reason to do that. And then the reason why each of you would believe that this individual should be increased or not increased. And then I provide you guys, you all received, I don't send out the individual recommendations, but that's something I could definitely do if that's something you want. I just put together a summary of the recommendations based on each recommendation from the committee. And in this case, each committee member recommended to remain at a level 1 classification. And the reasoning for that, which you all were provided in your email, as to why not to increase to a level 2. And so the next step would be to, since the committee is recommending a level 1, we still would go by each person. I'll take a vote as to what you want them to be, a level 1 or a level 2. And then, of course, the majority vote is what the final classification would be.
Any questions?
Okay, so I'm still, even the committee members that made their vote, I'm still going to ask you what your vote is, so it can be on record what that vote was, that you still remain in that determination. So Mindy Ackerman, what is your vote?
My vote is for level 1.
Gerard Armour,
Level 1.
Jerry Bruce,
Level 1.
Caitlin Morrell,
Level 1.
Frank Mullis,
Level 1.
Lori Rozier.
Level 1.
So we currently do not have Sheriff Brown online. He did send me documentation saying that he recommended level 1, and Bert Reeves is currently not Bert. Matthew Connolly is currently not with us, but he did also make the recommendation in documentation as a vote of level 1. That gives us currently, and actually Bert, you're here, we're talking about case number 22455. Oh, you're on mute. But just a quick rundown.
What level is it? What section is it?
So he's not in the sections. This is a case that was pulled due to concerns and a possibility of increasing him to level 2. And the committee members, all of them are recommending a level 1. And thus far, I've taken additional votes from Caitlin Morrell and Lori Rozier, both are recommending a level 1. And so I'm just asking each individual what their vote is. So what is your vote?
Did you send this as an attachment?
I did.
When was that sent?
It was sent on Tuesday.
I don't know why, but I'm not seeing it.
It was case 22455.
This was not in the agenda, right?
It is in the agenda under unfinished business.
But is the case in the agenda? Because the only attachment I have is the agenda.
That's odd because I sent all the attachments together.
Yeah, I literally, I'm only showing the all 7 attachments. Okay.
Okay, I feel better. Feel better, Bert. I'm sorry.
Well, what is it? Case 22455?
Yes.
Is there a way we can push the pause button on this and let me look? And so and will you refresh me again? What is the posture? Is it's recommended as a level 2, and the considerations being made as to whether or not it should be a level 1?
No. This is the case that you and Katie both had some concerns about, and we removed it for the committee to review it. It was a level 1 case. And so the committee reviewed all the information that we were able to provide to them. And so now they recommended, all of them unanimously recommend a level 1. So we're just going through and taking votes from the members who are not part of that committee.
Okay, so this is the case we discussed last month, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah, well, I believe it should be a level 2, so.
Yep. Okay. And let's see, I believe, Sheriff Brown, you had recommended a level 1 as a committee member, but I'm just verifying. Are you still feel that level 1 is appropriate?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we do have the majority vote as a request as a level 1.
Okay, so we need to do anything else?
No.
All right, the votes carry and then it will be a level 1. All right, we are now, is there any new business? Does anyone have any new business? All right. Now we'll move on to Tracy's report, the Executive Director.
So I wanted to share about House Bill 188, which is Representative Sain's bill that actually has been in the House. I believe this may have been the 3rd time, and it's always gone through crossover and then has been tabled in the Senate. It has now gone through the House again, and we will be in the Senate actually today regarding this case. And it does have some parts of it that affect SORB. So I figured I would just kind of review those and let you guys know where that's at. With this particular revision of the bill, it did take some of our stuff out because it's going to be in a different bill at some other point, but there are still some technical stuff that will be really helpful, and there's really no argument against our parts of this bill. So one is obviously the name of the change, our name change from Sex Offender Registration Review Board to Sex Offender Risk Review Board, which I'm very, very hopeful for because we'll get less calls about the registry, hopefully. The next piece that was related to SORB is in the current bill, the way it states is it reads very odd as though the board would conduct psychosexual evaluations or polygraphs, which we cannot do and will not do. So this changes the wording just that the sex offender may provide that information to us. So it just kind of clears up that wording. The next piece is that with pardons and parole, they have documentation that would be very beneficial for us and reduce. So it's kind of like we recreate the wheel sometimes, and pardons and parole has some information. So it's been put in the law where we can get that information, but that information is still anything that should be not subpoenaed, because it's a state secret, that's still protected, even if it's provided to us in a way that we can do that. So it still protects the board, meaning the parole board, but also provides us with the information that we need without recreating the wheel. So that's a big piece, and I'm really hopeful. The next thing that is changing is currently sex offenders only have 60 days to provide us with information for reevaluation. And we recognize that that's not a very long time, so we asked to double that. So it's going to be 120 days they have the ability to provide us with additional information. The next correction, which actually we put in there, which we already do this, but we just put it in the law, is we provide letters for predators in level 2s and 1s to the parole board as well. So it used to just be like the GBI, the sheriff's departments, and DCS, but now we send it to the parole board folks. And also in our policy, we've had this for a while, where an individual who's been classified as a 2 or a predator can request a reevaluation after 10 years. I mean, they can do it originally in that 30 days and then for the 60-day submission. But if they don't do that, or they're determined to still be the level that they were classified at, we put it in our procedures that 10 years later, they can ask again, rather than going for judicial review if they don't want to do that. And we'll review them after that 10 years with their request. The issue is the defense attorneys were having difficulty with that, knowing that policy can only always change. So that was always an argument during judicial review that we might change our policy, which I understand that. So we're trying to get it into the law that they have a right to ask 10 years post-classification and then every 5 years thereafter, because we know the longer they go without any criminal issues, the less risk that they are. So we're putting that in there. The next is, so in reference to Representative Sain's bill is, when you have a 2-time convicted sex offender, then we're looking at a possible life sentence, and the judge can request that we do a classification on that person upon sentencing. So that piece is in there. And then we provide the prosecuting attorney with our determination and recommendation at that time. So that is in there. That will affect us to some degree. Hopefully there's not going to be a whole lot of cases like that, but we do anticipate some cases, which is fine, because we know that when an individual has a prior sex offense, their risk increases dramatically. The next piece is where it does allow for, once the 2-time convicted sex offender, if this bill is to pass, gets out on a probation, after 10 years, they can request reprieve from that lifetime supervision. But to do that, there's certain things that they have to qualify for that. And if they do qualify for that 10 years, into their supervision, then the judge will ask for us to review their case again to make sure that they've actually decreased in their risk before they make a determination of removing them from their supervision at that time. And I think that's it. So those are the pieces that specifically relate to SORB and our role. And all of it's pretty much beneficial. None of it makes things more complicated or anything for SORB. So all of it is good for us.
Any questions for Tracy?
Okay.
Tracy, do you know why it's been held up in the Senate previously?
I think because of the lifetime makes people very nervous. And I think lack of true understanding of what that means, and around a 2-time convicted sex offender and what that means. Usually testimony has been a little questionable, those who testified about it even relating to the bill, but if people who don't really understand it are hearing it, I could see how they'd be very concerned and confused. So today, if given the chance, I will be testifying to explain that process and how it's different from a 1-time sex offender to a 2-time sex offender. So I think that's part of the reason.
Tracy, do you know, I can't recall off the top of my mind, has the bill made it out of Senate committee and into rules, or is it always gotten stuck in committee?
If I remember correctly, and I'm not positive, but I want to say committee, but I'm not positive on that.
Okay, because the way it works is even if you make it, a lot of things make it out of Senate committee and they make it to rules, but they never make it to the floor, or they make it to the floor, but they're not calendared in such a way that they're reached. And so, anyways, I'll find out what I can too, and see if there's anything else that would be insightful on that.
That would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. So,
Any other questions? Okay, on to the retreat.
so I sent you all the information on the retreat, let you know where it's at, kind of the basics of the retreat. Just a reminder, it's April 19th through the 21st. Also, the state has made it very clear to us that if you do not attend, so I have everybody so far has RSVP'd that they are attending. If you don't, the state suggests that you have to be responsible for lost funds with the hotel. However, I'm in the position which I've shared with DBHCD that if there is a good reason, because we know things happen, that I will make an argument for why that should not happen. But I just need to let you know what they keep telling me. And so please, if you can be there, it's really important that you are there. If you cannot be there due to life circumstances and business circumstances, I'll just need some kind of written verification and explanation as why you were not able to attend the retreat. So just kind of putting that piece out there. And other than that, and I'll be putting, closer to it, I'll send you information again, just as reminders and just so that you have all that information. And then the next board meeting is going to be that Friday of the retreat like we usually do. And for those watching on YouTube, and we'll have it on our website, it is an in-person only meeting. So public will still be able to come to the board meeting itself. Of course, not the retreat part or training part, but to the meeting itself. And that is all that I have.
Elizabeth, is that?
Hey, Tracy, I'm sorry, the meeting is on Friday. The board meeting is the Friday of that week, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. What time what time are we anticipating being done on that Friday?
Typically, I guess it depends on if there's additional information, because part of that meeting, I do have to present to you guys the budget and what I'm going to do with the budget and so some little extra stuff. So I would anticipate we usually get out there by about 11.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Will the board meeting be at the same time or will it be early?
it'll still be 10. Well, no, that's a good question. What time would y'all want to have the board meeting that morning? Probably earlier than 10, I would think.
Yeah, my opinion is the earlier we're able to wrap up on Friday and get on the road and head back to our jobs, the better. So that's my
So what do you think about 8:30?
I'll go with whatever y'all think. I don't, but
Okay, so we, because we have to do a notice to the public about the change in the time of the meeting. And so that has to go out. So Bert's recommending on that Friday that we go to 8:30 meeting that Friday morning. Do I hear a second on that?
This is Gerard, I second.
Okay, any comments or questions on it? All in favor that we move the board meeting for April 21st, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
aye.
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 I hope there's coffee.
Lots of it.
Definitely.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So the next board meeting will be April 21st, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. and that will be at the Blue Ridge Amphitheater.
Yes. And that'll be on our website too. Like we'll have the location so the public knows where we'll be located for that board meeting.
All right, I believe we're ready to review cases now. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, Tracy, if you'll give us the leveling process, please.
So how the board conducts the classification is we receive information from various agencies regarding those sex offenders that need to be classified. We then have our investigators that go out and obtain all the relevant information for risk. That is then provided to the evaluators who conduct the report with a recommendation to the board. That is then uploaded to our database with confidentiality, meaning the board members have no names, no identifiers to know who that person is that they're looking at and reading and voting on. So they read all those reports prior to our board meeting, and then during the meeting, if there's any questions, concerns, then we would discuss that. A vote is then taken. For our reevaluation cases, individuals who are classified as a 2 or a predator can request a reevaluation within 30 days and submit additional documents for our review after 60 days, or just that we review the case again. And to do that, we look at all their information they provided, and we also look at any new information that could be under DCS information or otherwise. And again, the evaluators put together that information, provide a recommendation. The board again reads it through the database with no identifiers, and then votes on that recommendation and any changes. And then letters go out to all individuals that they're supposed to go out to, and process continues.
All right. Again, I'll ask, did anyone not have time to review the cases on the agenda for today's meeting? And I know there's just a couple of recusals. I have one for case 24845. Matthew is recused, but he's not here. So any other recusals? Does anyone have questions, comments, or concerns about any of the level 1 cases? Okay, do I hear a motion to adopt the level 1 cases that have been presented to the board for review?
I motion that we adopt those level 1 cases as presented this morning.
Gerard is first. Here a second.
I second.
For a second. All right. So now we'll have a roll call vote.
Okay, Mindy,
Aye.
Gerard,
Aye.
Sheriff Brown, Sheriff Brown, you're muted.
Aye.
Jerry Bruce. Oh, no,
Aye.
sorry. Caitlin,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
they all pass.
Okay, those are moved in. Now we move on to the level 2 cases. I had one recusal, 22030. Matthew had one, but he's not here. So do I have anyone with questions or comments or concerns about the level 2 cases? All right, do I hear a motion that we adopt the level 2 cases?
This is Gerard. I motion that we adopt those level 2 cases as presented this morning.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, Tracy, roll call.
Okay, Mindy,
Aye.
Gerard,
Aye.
Sheriff Brown,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Caitlin,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Bert,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
they pass.
All right, so they are adopted. Okay, now we move on to the sexually dangerous predator cases. I don't see any recusals. Did anyone have a recusal? Any questions, comments, or concerns about the sexually dangerous predator cases? Do I hear a motion we adopt these cases?
So moved.
I second.
All right, we'll have a roll call on this.
Okay, Minnie, do you have any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions or concerns. My vote is aye.
Gerard, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions or concerns. My vote is aye.
Sheriff Brown, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No questions, no concern. My vote is aye.
Jerry, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, and my vote is aye.
Caitlin, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, my vote is aye.
Frank, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, my vote is aye.
Bert, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
Nope, my vote is aye.
And Lori, any questions or concerns about any of the sexually dangerous predators?
No, my vote is aye.
They pass.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to our 3 reevaluation cases. I don't see any recusals. Are there any questions about the reeval cases? All right, do I hear a motion that we adopt the reevaluation cases?
I move that we adopt the 3 eval cases as presented this morning to us.
Second.
All right, we'll have a roll call.
Mindy, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Gerard, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
Questions and my vote is aye.
Sheriff Brown, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Jerry, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Caitlin, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Frank, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, and my vote is aye.
Burr, any questions or concerns about the reevals?
No, my vote is aye.
And Lori, any questions or concerns by any of the reevals?
No, my vote is aye.
They pass.
All right, so we were able to classify 68 cases this month. I want to thank all the investigators, evaluators, and staff, and I want to especially thank Tracy for her hard work on the bill and all the stuff she does getting the retreat handled, and I know she does a lot for us, so I want a special thank you to her. Any remaining comments or questions? Do I hear a motion? We adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? We'll see you in April.
Aye.